All right, it's just me and Arabella today. We're gonna have fun. So let's stand for the flag salute. Salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, page 157 in grammar. We're getting close to the end. This is a review page about the two openers, the number 2 prepositional and then the number 5 clausal openers. So it says at the top of 157, it says a number 2 prepositional opener is a sentence that begins with a prepositional phrase. Write the pattern for a number 2 prepositional opener. So what would be the very first word of a prepositional opener?
In.
Like a preposition,
Yeah.
right? Okay, so the pattern would be, this is for that little line there. The pattern would be preposition. Yeah, but you're right, in is one. Preposition plus. Do you remember what the prepositional phrase ends on? When it's a whole phrase? It's okay if you don't. It's a noun. So prepositional phrases have a preposition plus a noun, but in parentheses, no verb. That is the big difference between a clause and a phrase. So the next one, that's the pattern for a prepositional opener. It has to have a preposition plus a noun, but no verb in that. Then the next one says number 5 clausal opener, or that's a clause, is a sentence that begins with a www word. And there they are: when, while, where, as, since, if, although, because, and contains a subject and a verb. So it shows, it's asking you write the pattern for a number 5 clausal opener. On that line, my marker is kind of, oh, that one actually worked. www word. I didn't write Asia, but that's okay. We can abbreviate. Plus subject plus verb. That's the pattern for a number 5 clausal. That's already written on there, but I'm just gonna make sure that's clear. So if the phrase, no verb, the clause does have a verb. It's a www word plus a subject plus a verb. Does that make sense? Good, okay. So it says some words can begin either a number 2 prepositional opener or a number 5 clausal opener, like the word since, for example. So the word since could be a preposition. Since yesterday, since last year, something like that. Since could also be a www word. It's one of the S's. So it could be since I ate pizza, my stomach is still full. Something like that. Since I ate, so I would be the subject and ate would be the verb. So that's how you can use since in either opener. And that's what they want you to see. So, and it just tells us again, always check for a verb. If there is a verb, it's a clause. If there is not a verb, it is a prepositional phrase, okay? And then it goes on to say, complete the following sentences using the verbs and nouns in the list or words of your own choice. You can use from the list or your own choice. Include a subject, noun, and verb to complete a number 5 opener. Include a noun or article plus a noun to complete a number 2 prepositional opener. You may add other words to complete the thought. So the first one is beneath blank Robin, and they give you a clue. They said to. So this is going to be a phrase. This is going to be a prepositional phrase. So remember, a prepositional phrase does not have a verb. So do you have an idea of what you could say? Beneath blank, Robin laughed.
The apple tree.
Perfect. The apple tree. So you can write that in. Beneath the apple tree, Robin laughed. So beneath and then tree, no verb. All right, good. And the next one is a number 5. So that one's going to be clausal. That one is going to have a verb because, so this one's going to include a subject and a verb. Blank, he was pleased. Because blank, he was pleased. And they don't have to go together. I don't think this is telling a story.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be random.
Because he ran?
Because he ran, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he ran, that would work. Because he ran, he was pleased. Maybe he was trying to get away from something. But yeah, you could say that. Because he ran, he was pleased. Maybe he needed to exercise. Get some energy out or something. But he and ran would be a subject verb, so that works. And then the next one, without, this is back to prepositional, so no verb on this one. Without blank, he seemed troubled.
Without his horse.
I like it. Without his horse, he seemed troubled. The comma rule. Remember the comma rule? If it's more than, I think it's 5, right? If it's more than 5 in the prepositional opener, but I don't think you have any of those yet.
I don't think
I can't remember either, but I think that's what it is. Let me see if my book says it with the commas. Hold on. Hold on. I'll check that. Did we put a note in here? I think it's 5 or more. If you have 5 or more in your prepositional opener, you need a comma. But these so far don't. Like without his horse, that's only 3. He seemed trouble. But it would be a longer one, like without his horse and his friend Robin, comma. So that is the rule. I do remember now. The door is opening by itself over here. Thought I saw a car coming, but okay. As blank, Robin lost his balance. This is a clausal opener, so it does need a verb in it.
he slipped.
As he slipped, Robin lost his balance. That would work. I guess it's kind of happening at the same time, so yeah. As he slipped. Okay. And then the next one, past blank, a fawn stood quietly. This is prepositional, so no verb on that one. Past,
The tree.
perfect. That's exactly what I was thinking too. Past the tree. Okay, when blank, it was safe. That one does need a verb. It's clausal. When maybe what could be a predator to a deer or a fawn?
When the fox left.
There you go. When the fox left, it was safe. Yeah, that would work. Because the fox would be the subject and left would be the verb. Back to prepositional. Because of blank, Robin was tired, so the no verb on that one.
The race.
Good. Because of the race, Robin was tired. And then the last one's clausal, so subject verb on the last one.
After he mocked the wolf, he knew it wasn't there.
That's a good one. After he mocked the wolf, he's like, I probably shouldn't have done that. He knew it was a mistake. Good, you got the idea. So it depends. If it's a clause, if it's a phrase, no verb. If it's a clause, then you do need a verb. You got it. Okay. let's go on to the practice page and you can read that when you're ready.
Confidently, the stranger pulled the bowstring, aimed at the target, and released the arrow, which flew straight.
Nice. Okay, good. Released is the verb, or I mean, the vocabulary word. Well, it is a verb too, but when you free something that's been fastened, you release it. So, let's see, 4 articles. Go ahead and find those real quick. Nouns.
Stranger,
Yes.
bowstring,
Yes.
target,
Yes.
arrow,
Yes. Good. That was easy. And then 2 adverbs.
confidently,
Confidently has the ly. Good. The other one does not have an ly, but it is telling how something is happening.
at,
No, it has to do with the verb, and sometimes it helps to find the verbs first for those. So if you need to later, you can. It's after flew. So how did it fly, or how did the arrow fly?
which,
No, the next word. Straight.
oh, straight.
Yeah,
which flew
it's
straight.
telling how. So that's a tricky one, but that is what an adverb does, is tell how something happened. So it flew straight. Yeah, that was tricky. And if you ever get stuck on those, I don't know if you do, but sometimes I get stuck on those. And it helps to find the verbs first
Mhm.
and then ask how something is happening. Okay. Coordinating conjunction. And, yep. How about the who which clause?
Which flew straight.
Which flew straight, good. There is a main clause and it does not include the which clause. And it doesn't include the opener either. I'm just gonna tell you that.
The stranger pulled the bowstring and the arrow.
All the way to arrow, yes. That's right. It starts with the stranger, goes all the way arrow. Good. And then the subject verb. So what are the verbs? We'll start with those.
Pulled,
Yep.
aimed,
Yes.
and released.
Yes. And there's more. One
Flew.
more. Flew. Uh-huh. That's it. And then what are the nouns that, or I mean the subjects that go with those?
Stranger,
Stranger, good.
which, oh no, arrow.
Yeah. Did you say air?
Arrow.
No, it's
Oh,
which actually. So there's only 2 subjects here. Stranger, he's just doing a bunch of things.
Mhm.
So he's the only one that's doing it though. So stranger is the subject there, and then which, you were right
Mhm.
for the which clause.
I don't know, it was like the arrow flew.
Yeah, it is the arrow, but it's like which, that which clause acts like a adjective, actually. It's telling a little bit more about, yeah, the arrow. That's true though. And then the opener.
Mm. Remember which one?
With the ly.
Yeah. Is it 2?
2 is the prepositional opener. It's not 2. 1 is the subject opener.
3?
Yes. 3, ly adverb opener. I think we forgot the prepositional phrase though. Do you see where that one's at?
Oh, at the target.
At the target, good. And then the capital, that's the first word. What about the commas? Do you know where those are gonna go?
After bowstring
Mm-hmm.
and after target.
Yes, because it's listing 3 things that he did. And then there's a comma there that needs to stay there after arrow. That's because you have a main clause and then a which clause after that. Okay. And then the end mark is just a period. So awesome. Any questions about that?
Oh, I don't think so.
Good. Good job. Those adverbs, they get me sometimes. So try it if you get stuck. Just I like to skip it. If I'm like, I don't know. Skip it and come back. Okay. You wrote about a person in history, Jim Henson. That was super cool. I loved it. I haven't had a chance to grade them all yet, but or maybe I did. Did I grade yours yet? I don't remember now.
I
Let
haven't
me
looked at
check.
it.
Let me check here just to see. Um, oh, I think I did. Yeah. I loved it. And you did a great job explaining who he was and how he created the Muppets and a little bit of background story with that and how he died and all that. So it was good. I really liked your paper. We're not going to turn it into a 5-paragraph one. We kind of talked about doing that. We're just going to keep it the 3 body paragraphs. But the next one we are turning into a 5-paragraph one. So you can put away, it looks like you already did. How about you just get out the next one, which is gonna be week 18. I think we're skipping one. Hang on, let me just check. Oh yeah, we are skipping 17. We're gonna skip 17, which is a subject of your choice. And we're gonna move on to 18 because I like 18 better. That's the honest truth. When you get out 17 though, you're gonna see a yellow page, so set that aside. And then just put away, and you can do this one over the summer if you're bored and you want to write something, you can do that by yourself, it's pretty easy. But I do want to do week 18, which is called a place of your choice. Okay. And then 2 pieces of lined paper. Week 18, 2 pieces of lined paper. So we just finished the unit about basically research writing or summarizing multiple references. And that's what you did when you picked a person in history, you did some research, found some websites, and you used facts from actual information. And we used the big white page. I'm sure you remember that. We're not going to do that for this one. So we're taking a break on the big white pages. So this is called inventive writing. And this is going to be more what you already have in your head. So that word inventive, I hear the word invent in the beginning of it. So we know what inventing something means, right? Have you heard the word inventory before?
Yes.
Okay, and do you know what it means, inventory?
Like something you already have,
Something you
like
already have?
something to hold things in.
Yeah. Are you thinking Minecraft?
Yeah.
Okay, that's so funny because I was talking to class before this and they all said Minecraft at the same time. I was like, oh, I used to play Minecraft like when it first came out, but haven't got that into it. But anyway, it is true. So it sounds like you collect things, right?
Mhm.
And then you check your inventory and you see what you have. Yeah. So if you think about it like a store like Walmart, they're workers that work there. They have to, and maybe you've seen them around with a little scanner thing and they scan stuff and then they're typing in stuff on this thing. It's like big. I don't know what it is, but it's this scanner. But as they're going through the aisles, so what they're doing is counting how many things they have left, like Lay's potato chips. So they go over to the chips and they're like, okay, how many chips do we have left? Okay, we have 5 bags left. So that tells the manager they need to order more. They always want to keep their shelves stocked. So inventory is basically like counting how many things you have and then planning for more. So in writing, it's in your head already. So you're going to take inventory of what you already know about something. And we're going to talk about a place. Okay, so before we get too deep into that though, we're going to, on your lined paper, go ahead and put your name and date like we usually do at the top here. It's been a while since we've used this. Today's the 21st. And we're just gonna go ahead and skip a line under that top and just put places. And I just want you to brainstorm, since you're the only one here, it's gonna be all you today. Everybody else watching later can think of other places you know. Think about some places that you know about. Obviously, you can put Tehachapi, especially after that tour you had, you know more than you did before that. But what are some other places that you've been or you kind of know about that you can think of? Maybe visiting another state or another city. or it could even be like Disneyland. Have you been there before?
One time I think.
One time? Okay, so but you know a little bit about it.
Yeah.
Or Magic Mountain, or what's the other one? Knott's Berry Farm. So yeah, just take a minute and think about all the places you know. It could be like I said, a city, a state, or it could be um actually you could think outside the box too. It could be a place in a book that you read. It could be like a fantasy place. Um, did you read Harry Potter?
I've
Or
watched the
no?
movies.
Okay. Or like Lord of the Rings. I know they're kind of more advanced.
My sister's actually reading
Oh,
them.
oh,
Yeah.
right now? That's
Yeah.
cool. Or maybe some books that you know of, and it could be like I said, like made up places if you think of any. Or like, I don't know if you've ever flown in an airplane, but it could be like an airport. That's a place. A couple that I know about. Let's see, airport, Disneyland. The beach, maybe Avila or Morro Bay or whatever beach you like to go to. And maybe when you were little, because this is outside of the box too, like if you ever played hide and seek and you know a really good spot to hide, like maybe I don't know, pantry or a closet somewhere. I think of places like that. So when I say place, it doesn't have to be an actual city or state or place like Disneyland. It could be something from a book too. Did you think of anything from a book?
Um, I thought of one from a video game. It's like Five Nights at Freddy's. Have you heard?
Five Nights at Freddy's?
Yeah,
I've heard of that.
like it's like a scary game.
Yeah, because it's a horror movie, right? Like Freddy
it
is like,
yeah, they're like animatronics, but it's a pizzeria. So
oh,
it's like Chuck E. Cheese, but
and they come alive
at night. But
at night.
like Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria in the morning time.
I always thought Chuck E. Cheese was creepy. I'm just
Yeah.
saying, even though it's supposed to be fun for kids and everything, but yeah, okay. All right, that's a good one. Or like the Minecraft world is just a world. Is it just called world or
It's called pretty much whatever you want.
Minecraft? Or okay, so I'll just put Minecraft just to give that as an example if anybody wants to use that. Well, you have a pretty good list going so far. So you're gonna think of three things you know, like solid things you know about one of these places. So eventually you're going to pick one. So before you pick one though, just look at your list. Um, is there one that stands out to you that you know more about than others or that's more interesting to write about? Because you can either way, I bet you could come up with your three things about it.
I was gonna do Chuck E. Cheese.
Chuck E. Cheese, the
Yeah.
actual restaurant?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Is it gonna, are you gonna include some other things that happen? Maybe? Okay. From the game. What's the game is called
Five Nights at Freddy's. There's like, hold on, there's a lot. There's also books. Um,
with the same
yeah,
characters and stuff?
there's like books, the game, and they all have like different
Movies.
stories
Okay.
that go along with them. It's very like storytelling based.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do Chuck E. Cheese.
Okay.
I like it. Think about, so from here, let's just skip a line under that and just put for you is Chuck E. Cheese. If you're listening in, it's whatever place you choose. Now I want you to make a list up and down like this, and I want you to think about all the things you know about Chuck E. Cheese and make a list. Like it's a restaurant. You know, it has games, right?
Mhm.
It has like a play structure, or is it mostly games, like video games?
It's mostly an arcade.
Oh yeah, arcade, that's a good one. Oh, it has like a stage, right?
Yeah.
Where Chuck E. Cheese comes in. Um, do they do karaoke there?
I don't think they do karaoke, but I feel like they took out all the animatronics from every location.
Yeah.
And that made me really sad because that was like always my favorite part
Yeah.
of the
It's like a little bit of Disneyland, you
Yeah.
know, and like the one in Bakersfield.
Yeah.
I don't even know if that's open anymore, is it?
I don't know.
Might be closed because now they have like John's Incredible Pizza and all
Yeah.
that has stuff. Um, but there's music. We can think back when it was open.
Yeah.
I know there was music, and I thought that might be a different restaurant, but I thought it had like slides and stuff. Am I thinking of something different?
I
Might
remember
be.
there being a play structure. Maybe not at the one in Bakersfield, but maybe at a different
Yeah.
one. I remember going to one with a play structure
So
though.
we could put play structure because you can include that structure. And you for the games you got tickets, right? And you got to
Yeah,
get a prize.
tickets.
So tickets.
They've
Um,
made that all digital now too.
oh
Like you don't
wow.
get tickets anymore. It goes to like a card and there's not like tokens
I
that
remember the tokens. Man, you're like you should have been born in like the 80s.
yeah.
I can tell you love the 80s by everything that you talk about. It's awesome. That's my time. It was so fun in the 80s. Oh my gosh. Okay, so, and if you think of more later, you can think of them, but here's your list of what you know about Chuck E. Cheese. And you're going to pick three of them because basically we're going to set this up where you have the 5 paragraph essay has an introduction, but then you've got 3 body paragraphs in the middle. So think of the top 3 things that you want to write about Chuck E. Cheese and circle 3 things from your list. And like I said, if you think of something else later, you can change your mind on one of those if you want. But like for me, I probably would choose, but yours can be different, okay? Um, got your 3. He always did a thing for birthdays in the birthday room, right? On the stage.
Yeah, I feel like we never like did that.
Oh yeah. I
Because
think
we always just went.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool. So what 3 did you pick?
Games, slash arcades, tickets, slash purchase, and animatronics.
And animatronics.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. That's perfect. So now let's see. On the back of that page, I'm gonna erase this because it sounds like you got all yours on there. On the back, I'm just gonna show you what a 5 paragraph model looks like. So on that first line, we'll just put a number 1, Roman numeral 1. This is gonna be like that red line on your paper. So on margin, just put intro here. That's your introduction paragraph. And when you start a 5 paragraph essay, you start with an intention getter. Have we talked about that before?
I don't like in the class, but
You've heard of it?
yeah.
Okay, good. So, and we're gonna focus on the introduction and conclusion next week because your main homework is gonna be the body paragraphs, but I'm just giving you like a introduction on how to set this up. Attention getter, like we'll talk about next week, is something like a question, or it could be a VSS, which is the very short sentence. It could be a fact, like a random fact, like, did you know Chuck E. Cheese has been around since 1981? Something like that. You can even look it up to find a fact, okay? So that's something to start with, and that's always a good way to draw in the reader. And when I say reader, I'm like whoever's reading your paper, to make them want to know more, to read more about it. That would be the first thing. And then it would be background. So we'll put that next to one here. Background is like, maybe if you talk about the one in Bakersfield, you could give a little background information, like the first time I went to Chuck E. Cheese was when I was blank years old in Bakersfield or something like that. And then I want you to put topic A, topic B, topic C. Okay, so these three, topic A, topic B, topic C, are going to end up being full paragraphs in the middle. So just skip a line under the 4 and put Roman numeral 2 here. And I just want you to put topic A for Roman numeral 2. Skip a line and do Roman numeral 3, which would be topic B, and then Roman numeral 4, topic C. I know I'm going kind of fast. I'll slow down for a second here. Okay, and then I want you to do like a bracket here. These are called your body paragraphs, and I'm sure you've heard that before. Whoops. Paragraphs. So each Roman numeral is a paragraph. So we have the Roman numeral 1 is the introduction paragraph. Then we've got the 3 body paragraphs here. And then the last paragraph, do you remember what that one's called?
Conclusion.
The conclusion. And that's going to be a Roman numeral 5, which is just a V. In the margin, I'll just have you put CONCL, conclusion. That's the abbreviation for conclusion. And in the conclusion, you're going to see a pattern here. Topic A. So that's what I want you to see the pattern. We've got your introduction, which introduces, it does a little bit first, and then it introduces your 3 topics, like not telling a lot about it, but basically saying, like if one of your topics is the games/arcade, there are many classic games at Chuck E. Cheese. So you're not going to give away what they are yet, but you're saying, hey, there's games, and then there's also tickets and prizes, or however you want to structure that. And then you're going to do a whole paragraph about the games, whole paragraph about the tickets and the prizes, and then the other one with the animatronics. Yeah. So your last one would be like all about the animatronics. And then at the conclusion, you're saying them again. It's like 3 times you're saying these things. In the middle is your bulk. That's why it's called the body. It's the main part of your paper. And then the last one here for number 3 would be most significant and why. When you get to the end of your conclusion paragraph, this is like the very end of your paper. You're going to say something like, the most significant thing about Chuck E. Cheese is, the animatronics, because there's all kinds of movies and books written about them now and games. So that is you're wrapping it up with what you want your reader to remember about your paper, basically. So I wanted to kind of condense it down real quick so you can see the pattern. So a little bit in the beginning, A, B, and C, A, B, C, and then A, B, C, and then most significant. So that's how I want you to remember a 5-paragraph essay. So now, on your clean paper, because I had you get out two, we're gonna actually set up the actual keyword outline. So go ahead and name and date again on the top of that one. This will be the place. So if you're watching Lily and Gianna, sorry, I was with my niece this weekend. Jana. My niece is Gianna, but I'm not gonna mix you guys up, okay? Jana, whatever topic you picked for the place that you guys picked is gonna go here. So I'm gonna do mine with Arabella since she's here. Chuck E. Cheese. Some people say Chuck E. Cheese's. I think it's Chuck E. Cheese though.
Yeah, it's just Chuck E. Cheese.
That's what I thought. Okay. And then over here along that red line, you're gonna do Roman numeral 1, and we're just gonna write, this time we're just gonna put intro here. Because we have another paper we're gonna use for that. And then we're gonna focus on your body paragraphs today. So skip a line here, and we're just gonna put Roman numeral 2, 1 through 5. We're just setting this up here. I'm out of room, but if you run out of room, you can use the back if you need to. I'm just gonna put my 5 right here. And then I'm just gonna put conclusion. We're gonna work on those two next week. We're gonna focus on your 3 body paragraphs this week. So technically it's Roman numerals 2, 3, and 4. Okay. And the other thing I want you to put, like, at the space up above your title here, you have some space. I want to list the question words that can help you come up with a plot. Actually, there's a bunch. Maybe we should do this on another paper so we don't mess up the room. Let me see what kind of room you got on this one. Is there anything on the back? Oh yeah. How about we put it under that first page you did with your list of things about the places that you know about? I'm just gonna draw a line here. I don't want you to mess up your page that you have your outline because you're gonna need all that space. So we're gonna pretend this is that other page. And we're gonna put down a list of those questions like who, what are some other question words that we have? Where? What else?
When?
Good. Why? You know the other one? There's 6 of them.
Which?
Oh, well, that could be, but not that one. Who, what, when, where, why. It's actually how. Those are called the big 6. Which could be like, which one do you want me to do or pick or whatever? Or which one is it? That's true. You could use which, but it's not technically one of those question words like that. And then I'm gonna have you draw a line because we're gonna make another list under that. This one's gonna be the 5 senses. Remember what those are?
Taste.
Okay, so taste. That could be if you're ordering pizza and how it tastes and it's cheesy and all that. Man, you're making me hungry.
Smell.
Good,
Hear.
good,
See.
good,
Touch.
good. Got it. So these are questions that are going to help you come up with your body paragraphs about these topics. Okay. And there's one more list. You still have room, kind of?
Mhm.
Yes? Okay, good. This list is gonna be best, worst. What's the best part about Chuck E. Cheese? What's the worst part about Chuck E. Cheese? Are there any problems? If you have a problem, are there any solutions? And this is where you can create a situation with the animatronics if you want, because I have a feeling that's what you're like, I think I know what I want to do here. And it can be made up, you know, it doesn't have to be a realistic story. So if they come alive or whatever you want. And then value is one, like how important something is, and then significance. That we will definitely talk about at the end in the conclusion. Okay, those are all the questions. That's going to help you come up with ideas on sentences for your body. So this week, you're going to focus on the body paragraphs, which is 2, 3, and 4. And you already picked your topics. So go ahead and write down your topics here. What was your first one again?
Games/arcade.
Okay, so we'll just put games. We can just use a comma, arcade. And you don't have to have a third word yet. You can leave it just 2 or think of one later. And then your next topic was
The tickets and prizes.
tickets, good. Prizes. So that's going to be a little tricky because some of the games involve tickets. So I would talk about the games in arcade and then save the tickets, like you can transition here in your last sentence to then what do you do with those tickets? You know what I mean? And then your last one was the animatronics, right? And how do we spell that? Is it A? Animatronics? Let's see. Animatronics. Yeah, it's kind of like animal. Anima. Tronics, like electronics. I was close. It's one word. I know it looks like I have a big space here, but animatronics. Basically like electronic animals, I guess. What are some of the animatronics that you remember?
Well, at the one in Bakersfield, we always just had Chucky himself, but there are like so before Chuck E. Cheese was a thing, he was originally a coyote. It was originally he was
I did
originally a
not know
coyote.
that.
And they purchased a walk around costume suit that and the owner was like, this looks nothing like a coyote, it looks more like a rat. And so he was a rat.
Oh my gosh. I did
Yeah.
not know that.
Um
You found that online or something, or is
yeah.
that okay?
Um and I think Chuck E. Cheese was about to go bankrupt, so they partnered with a different pizzeria called Showbiz Pizza. Um and so they used the animatronics from Showbiz Pizza and reskinned them for new animatronics, which was the Crunch, who I think was it, who was like the purple. He's purple. He looks like a big fluffy purple monster.
Oh,
There's a chicken. There's a dog. There's a chef, Italian chef, and then Chuck E. Cheese himself.
okay. And this is actually at a restaurant somewhere, or this is mostly like the game or the show or
This is
something?
this is just like Chuck E. Cheese itself.
Really?
Like,
Because
yeah.
I don't remember those. I kind of remember a purple thing
Yeah,
in Bakersfield.
it's they use them as the ticket thing
Oh,
to like give
okay.
your tickets to it. I don't know if they still
Okay.
use that though.
I don't know either. It makes me want to go and see,
Yeah,
but that's funny that it was a coyote because the rat makes more sense with the cheese.
yeah.
Coyote, I wonder what they were thinking about with that one.
Oh, and also I know what the E stands for in his name. It's Chucky Entertainment Cheese.
Oh, see, that would be a good one save that for your intro.
Mhm.
That's a good one. I like that. Okay, cool. So you've got your three topics. This will be pretty easy, and we're going to wrap it up here in a second, but you're just going to focus on your three body paragraphs. And as you're coming up with details, use these questions to help you. And they don't have to be in this order. You can jump around that list to come up with some ideas. And then let's look really quick at your checklist, though. Make sure. I don't think anything's new on there, but I do want to check. And in this, we'll read this next week, though. His example story about a place. The checklist has both openers, prepositional and adverb. We've had those already, huh?
I don't think we've seen the adverb one
The
yet.
adverb one, okay. So that's new on the checklist then, and those are pretty easy.
Yeah.
Because we find those in the grammar books. They're just basically an ly at the beginning. And you'll mark it with a 3 with the brackets. And then all the band words are still there. You'll see I think this is the first time you've technically done a 5-paragraph for me though, right? Is this the first time or have you done 5 paragraphs
I
before?
think this is technically the first time.
Technically, okay. So, you'll see on the checklist, there's 5 paragraphs listed there. And then at the top, under structure, you can see that they kind of divided up the introduction, body, and conclusion parts. So don't worry about the introduction and conclusion part yet. We'll really go into that next week. But the body is like you have been doing with the topic clincher.
Mhm.
So you'll still use topic clincher for these middle paragraphs. It'll be different for the introduction and conclusion part, but you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's a lot of boxes in here. So it does need to have all of those in the body paragraphs and the introduction and conclusion. So do you have any questions about that?
Oh, I
You're
get it.
good? Okay. We got 3 minutes. So I think we can wrap it up here. That way you can really think about it at home, how you want to do it. It's not really I kind of don't want it to get too off on the craziness with the animatronics,
I'm
but you
just
can
gonna just stick to the
to the
restaurant
basics, to
itself.
the restaurants itself, okay? Because you can create, like, you can talk about those other creatures though that we don't have anymore and elaborate on
Yeah.
that. But I think we might have another, because that would be interesting to write like a situation or something, you know? I see you laughing like you're probably already thinking of that. Maybe we could do that in another assignment. But for this one, yeah, keep it about the restaurant. Whatever you guys decide to write about. It could even be your grandparents' house or a farm that you've been to. I'm trying to think of other ideas for the ones listening in, but it could be a farm, it could be a any place really. If you need help thinking of one, let me know. And that's it. So hopefully I'll see you girls next week. Have a good one. Signing off here.